It's called Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
That's a curious name for a motor car.
I'm sorry to persist about this, but, well, perhaps you simply aren't aware that your children are running about in the road.
If there are children here, my friend, you will die.
Here we go.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, 1968, directed by Ken Hughes, is a whimsical musical fantasy that has charmed audiences for generations. Starring Dick Van Dyke as an eccentric inventor who transforms a broken-down car into a magical flying machine.
What's happening?
Its journey from page to screen was an adventure in itself, packed with behind-the-scenes drama, surprising casting choices, and tragic real-life stories. Here are 20 weird facts you didn't know about Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, 1968. Number 1. The wacky inventor was a real person. The marvelous inventions in Caractacus Potts's workshop were the creations of a real-life eccentric inventor. Roland Emmet was hired to bring the film's gadgets to life. Emmet was known for his whimsical Rube Goldberg-esque contraptions, and his personal style perfectly matched the character of Caractacus Potts. He designed and built machines like the Humbug Major Sweet Machine and the Clockwork Lullaby.
Scrumptious that's wound by a key.
The most memorable, the automated breakfast maker, was also the most troublesome. According to Dick Van Dyke, the machine frequently malfunctioned, sometimes dumping plates on the floor or flinging eggs across the room. Emmet, who once said, "If I am mad, it's a rather nice state," infused the film with a genuine sense of inventive, if slightly flawed, genius. Number 2. Grandpa Potts was younger than his son.
Do I smell food? Bring the bread, will you, Grandpa? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the pepper and salt, please.
Right away, sir.
Lionel Jeffries, who played the eccentric elderly Grandpa Potts, was actually 6 months younger than his on-screen son, Dick Van Dyke. Jeffries, born in London in June 1926, often played characters much older than his actual age, thanks in large part to losing his hair early in life. He humorously blamed his service in Burma during World War II, claiming the intense jungle heat made it fall out. Dick Van Dyke, born in December 1925, never let his on-screen father forget the age gap. He said the two became close friends, but he loved to rib Jeffries about the absurdity of their roles constantly. Number 3. The child catcher was a famed ballet dancer. The sinister, long-nosed child catcher who famously drawled, "I smell children," is a character that has haunted the nightmares of generations.
I can smell them.
The man behind the terrifying performance was Sir Robert Helpman, an Australian actor who was also a world-renowned ballet star and choreographer. Helpman brought a unique, predatory grace to the role, making the villain's movements as unsettling as his appearance. To make his face look more gaunt and frightening, he even removed his false teeth for the role. His ballet training proved unexpectedly useful during one chaotic scene where he lost control of his horse-drawn wagon on the cobblestone streets. As the wagon crashed, Helpman leaped from it with astonishing elegance. Dick Van Dyke later recalled, "He jumped off like a ballet dancer. I have never seen anything as graceful in my whole life." Number 4. The toughest scene was a grueling dance number. While the film is full of spectacular moments, the most physically demanding for Dick Van Dyke was the high-energy song and dance number, "Me Ol' Bamboo." The routine, based on traditional Morris dancing, required the cast to dance with and jump over long bamboo sticks.
Have a go, mate.
A flyer in an aerial plane.
The sticks, however, were reinforced with metal poles, making them heavy and unforgiving. At 41 years old, Van Dyke was performing alongside dancers who were, on average, 15 years younger than him. The complex choreography and physical toll resulted in 23 takes to get the scene just right. Van Dyke later admitted it was the hardest dance number he had ever performed in his career. In the final take used in the film, he said you can see him barely clearing the stick on his final jump, a testament to the sheer exhaustion of the day. Number 5. Julie Andrews turned down the role of Truly Scrumptious. The role of the charming and elegant Truly Scrumptious was perfectly embodied by Sally Ann Howes, but she wasn't the producer's first choice. They originally offered the part to Julie Andrews, who had just achieved superstardom with Mary Poppins and The Sound of Music. However, Andrews turned it down, feeling that the character of Truly was too similar to the magical nanny she had just played. In a fun twist of fate, the part then went to Sally Ann Howes, who had her own connection to Andrews. Years earlier, when Julie Andrews left the lead role in the Broadway production of My Fair Lady, it was Sally Ann Howes who was hired as her replacement. The two actresses seemed destined to follow in each other's footsteps, and Howes went on to make the role of Truly Scrumptious uniquely her own.
Well, I don't see anything funny. Somebody should do something about it.
If you're enjoying this so far, hit that like button and subscribe for more awesome movie facts. And tell us in the comments, what movie brings you the most nostalgia, and which one should we cover next? Number 6. The English countryside was sometimes France. Many of the film's iconic scenes were shot in the beautiful English countryside, turning locations like the Cobstone Windmill in Buckinghamshire into tourist destinations for fans. The filmmakers wanted to capture the idyllic charm of rural England, but they ran into a classic British problem: the unpredictable weather. During filming in the summer of 1967, constant rain and overcast skies threatened to derail the production schedule. To ensure they had enough sunshine for the bright, cheerful scenes, the crew packed up and moved to the south of France. If you look closely during some of the driving sequences, you can spot vineyards and scenery that look distinctly more like the Côte d'Azur than the rolling hills of Surrey. It was a clever solution that kept the film's sunny disposition intact, even if it meant faking the geography. Number 7. A famous rock star was a cut extra. Before he became the frontman of Genesis and a global music icon, Phil Collins was a child actor trying to make his way in the industry. As a teenager, he landed a small role as an extra in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. He was cast as one of the Vulgarian children who stormed the castle in the film's climactic final scene. However, Collins never made it into the final cut. The reason? He had a large cyst on his head that required a bandage, and the director felt the pristine white dressing was too distracting in the shot. Collins later joked that he could understand the decision, as the bandage stood out quite a bit. In contrast, producer Cubby Broccoli's young daughter, Barbara, who would later produce the James Bond films, was also an extra in a fairground scene, and unsurprisingly, her part was not cut. Number 8. The car's license plate holds a secret meaning. The magical car is the heart of the film, and every detail about it was carefully considered, including its iconic license plate, GEN 11. This wasn't just a random assortment of letters and numbers.
It's the most beautiful thing I ever saw in my life. It's wonderful.
When read aloud, Gen 11 sounds like genie, a nod to the magical wish-granting spirit from folklore. This clever wordplay was a deliberate choice by the filmmakers to hint at the car's extraordinary abilities long before it ever takes flight. The car is, in essence, a mechanical genie that grants the Potts family freedom, adventure, and the ability to escape their troubles. It's a subtle but brilliant detail that adds another layer of magic to the story, turning a simple registration number into a piece of clever foreshadowing that most viewers miss on the first watch. Number 9. The car was inspired by a real-life eccentric racer. The idea of a powerful custom-built car named Chitty Bang Bang didn't originate with Ian Fleming. The name and concept were borrowed from a series of real racing cars built in the 1920s by an eccentric, wealthy racing driver and automobile engineer named Count Louis Zaborowski. The Count created 4 Chitty Bang Bang cars, each equipped with massive aero engines from World War I aircraft, making them incredibly powerful and noisy. Fleming, a known motor enthusiast, was fascinated by the legend of Zaborowski's monstrous machines and used them as the inspiration for his children's story. While the real Chitties couldn't fly or float, their larger-than-life reputation and innovative engineering provided the perfect foundation for the fantastical tale of a car with a mind of its own.
Bang, bang, chitty, chitty, bang, bang. Our fine four-fendered friend, chitty, bang, bang, chitty, chitty, bang, bang.
Number 10. Goldfinger played the villain and had to be dubbed. The role of the childish, toy-obsessed villain, Baron Bombburst of Bulgaria, was played by German actor Gert Frobe.
You are the inventor? Make this car fly!
Film fans will instantly recognize him as another iconic villain, Auric Goldfinger from the 1964 James Bond film Goldfinger. Although Frobe was a perfect fit for the comically menacing Baron, there was a significant problem. He barely spoke any English. Just as in Goldfinger, his entire performance in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang had to be dubbed by another actor. The voice you hear belongs to British voice actor Robert Reedy. Frobe's powerful physical performance combined with Reedy's vocal work created a memorable and hilariously petulant antagonist.
I have a surprise for you.
Surprises? Oh, I love surprises!
But it's fascinating to know that the actor behind one of the film's most over-the-top characters wasn't speaking his own lines. Number 11. It's a James Bond movie for kids. The connection to Gert Frobe was just one of many links between Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and the world of James Bond. Given that the story was written by Ian Fleming and produced by Albert Cubby Broccoli, the man behind the Bond film franchise, it's no surprise the film is packed with 007 alumni. Desmond Llewellyn, beloved for his role as the Gadget Master Q, makes a delightful appearance as the scrap dealer Coggins.
But Mr. Coggins, you promised we could play in her.
Well, I'm sorry, my dears, but, well, she ain't any use to me.
Anna Quayle, who plays Baroness Bombburst, also appeared in the 1967 Bond spoof Casino Royale. The film's stunt coordinator, Vic Armstrong, frequently doubled for 007 actors over the years. This heavy overlap of on-screen talent gives the movie the feel of a family-friendly Bond adventure, complete with outlandish villains, incredible gadgets, and a one-of-a-kind special vehicle. Number 12. The film was secretly a James Bond reunion. The James Bond connections ran even deeper behind the camera, making the production feel like a full-blown reunion of the 007 creative team. Ken Adam, the legendary production designer who created the villains' lairs in films like Dr. No and Goldfinger, was the man who designed the iconic look of the Chitty car itself. The screenplay was co-written by Richard Maybaum, who penned the scripts for a dozen Bond films, bringing his knack for adventure storytelling to the children's classic. The director, Ken Hughes, also had a Bond connection, having directed the sprawling 1967 spoof Casino Royale. With so much of the core James Bond team involved, it's clear that Chitty Chitty Bang Bang wasn't just based on a Fleming story. It was crafted with the same epic scale and adventurous spirit that made the 007 films a global phenomenon. Number 13. Roald Dahl wrote a scathing early draft. Before Ken Hughes and Richard Maybaum finalized the script, producer Cubby Broccoli hired another literary giant to adapt Fleming's book, Roald Dahl. Having just successfully adapted the Bond novel You Only Live Twice for the screen, Dahl seemed like a perfect choice. However, the experience was a disaster. Dahl later claimed he only took the job for the money and hated the process, stating that the director and producers never used a word of his script. Director Ken Hughes told a different story, claiming Broccoli called Dahl's script a piece of shit and asked him to rewrite it from scratch. The relationship became so bitter that Dahl was not invited to the film's royal premiere. Despite the animosity, some of Dahl's unique, darker sensibilities are believed to have remained in the final film, particularly with the creation of the villainous child catcher. Number 14. The director claimed he invented the child catcher. The child catcher is arguably the most famous and frightening element of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but he does not appear in Ian Fleming's original book. His creation has long been a point of contention. For years, it was widely believed that the character was an invention of Roald Dahl, whose own work often featured terrifying figures who threatened children. Dahl himself took credit for it. However, director Ken Hughes vehemently disputed this claim. In an interview, Hughes insisted that he wrote every word of the script and that the child catcher was entirely his creation. The child catcher was my invention, his cage, and everything, he stated. Regardless of who truly deserves the credit, the character became an icon of cinematic villainy.
You have to know where to look. Like cockroaches,
Number 15. The story has a heartbreakingly tragic origin. While the film is a joyous adventure, the book it's based on was born from a place of tragedy. In 1961, Ian Fleming suffered a major heart attack and was ordered to rest. His young son, Casper, reportedly told him, "Daddy, you love James Bond more than you love me." To prove his love, Fleming began writing a children's story just for him about a magical car. He never lived to see the book published, as he died of another heart attack in 1964 on Casper's 12th birthday. The loss deeply affected his son. In 1975, at the age of just 23, Casper took his own life. Number 16. There were 6 Chitties, and they were street legal. The production team built a reported 6 different versions of the Chitty car for filming. This included a fully functional roadworthy hero car, several lighter versions for effect shots, a transforming model, and a smaller version for flying sequences.
Oh, we've lost them!
We'll find them all right.
But what about Grandpa?
Don't worry about Grandpa.
The primary car was registered with the genuine license plate GEN11 and was completely street legal, allowing it to be driven on public roads between filming locations. It was powered by a Ford V6 engine and featured a dashboard plate from a World War I fighter plane. After filming, the cars went their separate ways. The Lord of the Rings director Peter Jackson owns one, and radio personality Chris Evans bought the main hero car for over $800,000 in 2012. Even Michael Jackson once tried to buy the original. Number 17. The Sherman Brothers wrote the music, and It's a Small World. The film's unforgettable Oscar-nominated soundtrack was written by the legendary songwriting duo Robert and Richard Sherman. The Sherman Brothers were Walt Disney's go-to composers, having penned the iconic music for classics like Mary Poppins, The Jungle Book, and The Aristocats. They were also responsible for one of the most famous or infamous earworms of all time, It's a Small World After All. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was their first major project outside of the Disney studio.
Chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, oh you. Pretty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, we love you.
And they brought their signature blend of catchy melodies and clever lyrics to create timeless songs like Truly Scrumptious.
You too are truly scrumptious, scrumptious as the
Toot Sweets, and the title theme. Number 18. The story continues in modern books. While the original 1968 film remains a standalone classic, the adventures of the magical car have continued in print. Much like they did with the James Bond series, the Ian Fleming estate authorized a series of official sequels to the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang book. Starting in 2011, award-winning children's author Frank Cottrell Boyce penned 3 new novels, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang Flies Again, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and the Race Against Time, and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang Over the Moon. These books introduce a new family, the Tootings, who discover and restore the famous car, launching them on their own set of magical adventures.
to use the vernacular.
It's wizard. It's smashing.
Number 19. The stage show set a world record. In 2002, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was adapted into a massive stage musical that opened at the London Palladium. The show was a huge spectacle featuring new songs by the Sherman Brothers and elaborate sets.
Chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang. Oh yes, go!
But the undisputed star of the show was the car itself. The stage version of Chitty was capable of rising from the stage, tilting, and appearing to fly over the audience. Its complexity and engineering came at a staggering cost. The prop was officially recognized by Guinness World Records as the most expensive stage prop ever created, costing approximately £750,000, around $1.5 million at the time. Number 20. The famous car was an automatic. Dick Van Dyke was a multi-talented performer known for his singing, dancing, and comedic timing.
Someone to care for, to be there for. I have you too.
However, he apparently lacked the ability to drive a manual transmission or stick shift. To accommodate its star, the fully functional hero car was built with an automatic gearbox. This allowed Van Dyke to drive it with ease during the many scenes shot on location without having to worry about operating a clutch or changing gears. And that's 20 shocking facts about Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. From real-life inventors to tragic backstories, this magical family classic remains one of the most imaginative films ever made. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment which movie we should cover next.